Hello, world. Welcome to another week of Golf Subpar. Colt Knost and Drew Stoltz. Our guest this week, Sleaze, Adam Long. You know, not the most well-known guy out on the PGA Tour, but a guy that's a good friend of us to us. Been playing some great golf lately. Really is starting to make a name for himself on the PGA Tour, and he's got one of the driest sense of humors on the planet. A guy that I just love to mess with. I love talking to. He was an absolute blast to sit down with.
Yeah, he's a fun dude, man. Really fun, really sharp guy. And it's cool for me to see because, like, obviously I spent most of my time on the Jickeys, the Canadian Tour, you know, some Web.com and Corn Ferry. This guy did the exact same thing. We played so many events together, so many rounds together, traveled together, did all that. And to see a guy like that actually be one of the guys that makes it, and not just makes it like, hey, he got a tour card and then lost it, but makes it, gets on the PGA Tour, wins, and now turning into a guy that, I mean, last year was 31st on the FedEx Cup, almost made it to Eastlake. It's cool for me to see those guys that kind of went through the grind and you know, kind of had to eat some shit a little bit before they got to eat caviar out there like he's doing right now. And he's turned into a hell of a player and is having another great start to this year as well.
Yep, up to 62 in the world, and I can just see him continuing to climb that world ranking list. He's a great player. Very few weaknesses, and I'm excited to see what he can do. But here's Adam Long on Golf Subpar.
All right, our guest today is a very good friend of the show. He is a PGA Tour winner, finished 31st on the FedEx Cup in 2020. He is the Phil Mickelson Slayer. Adam Long, welcome to the program.
Wow, this is an honor. Can't believe this thing has made it to 2021. I owe a lot of people money, but happy to be here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess everybody else was busy, but you know what? We're happy to have you. And, you know, like I said, it's an honor to have Adam Long. You're always one of my favorite guys to hang out with out there on the PGA Tour.
I mean, I know Whisper Rock has a lot of members, but I didn't realize you went through them that quickly. So it flew by.
Bud, we're on like episode 51. I mean,
you'd be surprised, buddy. I was going to introduce you. I introduced you as the Phil Mickelson Slayer. I was going to introduce you as the man with the smallest head on the PGA Tour, but I thought the Phil thing sounded better.
But you just had to throw it in there.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. What
I think, I think I take it as a point of pride, honestly. I mean, there's not too many things on tour that guys can say, like, I'm the only one, or I am the best, or I have the only, you know, and that's something that I cherish.
Before we get going on all the good stuff, what is your hat size, right? If you wore a fitted hat, what size do you get?
I don't know. I mean, 6 something. I don't even get fitted hats. I just get like a small something, but I don't.
It doesn't even look that small.
No, dude.
Small,
I mean, yours looks big, Sleaze.
Yeah, mine's enormous, but his is like, it's like his looks like what I came out of the womb with.
It's always a thing, like sitting around a table, guys, my hat will be sitting there and somebody will have a huge head and we'll put it on each other's heads and it's Adam's got a tiny head. It's been a thing for a while, but I'm over it. All
right, well, let's get past your head. Let's get on to a little bit of your golf and everything else. But I want to talk a little bit about when you grow up, because I read that you were a big hockey player before turning to golf, and an injury kind of ruined your hockey career, correct?
It's a true statement, and I can't believe how much research you guys do.
Yep.
I can't, and really impressive.
It is.
Yeah, I played hockey, big hockey fan growing up in St. Louis, and big Blues fan. And that was kind of my favorite sport to play. I was most excited about playing. I was decent at it. I was a defenseman, but I played some travel teams. I was, decent. And I don't know, it was like a winter league, at some small little local series league thing that I was playing. And it was a checking game. It was like one of the first few games of checking, I feel like. And I just got absolutely destroyed in the middle of the ice by this huge kid who just had it out for me. Anyway, I go on my back, I'm flying into the boards, feet first, and one leg hit before the other. And I just screamed as loud as I could. I remember I just basically passed out. It hurt so bad. And I just remember at the hospital laying in the bed, my dad, my mom were there. And it's a joke now in our family, but I was just laying there like, they're going to have to cut it off. They're going to have to cut it off. I swore I was going to have my leg amputated, but it turned out to be just a broken leg. 6 weeks, I was back on the ice.
So your first game ever checking, you went out for your carear.
That's pretty true. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Worked out for the best.
I got the cast off early to have like a brace so I could play the Pepsi Little People's tournament. So golf was still a priority at that point, clearly.
Yeah, well, golf obviously worked out very, very well. But staying on hockey just for a second, I got to run this by you because, you're good friends with the Sleaze. and he's got this bet coming up. Okay.
Yes.
It's scheduled to take place February 1st here in Phoenix, as long as everything's not out of control. But the former hockey great Ray Whitney, not sure if you know the name, the Wizard legend, has challenged Sleaze. Sleaze's never been on skates before. Okay, Adam?
Nope.
Keep up with me here. Never been on skates. So they have 3 bets. 1, he has to skate all the way around without holding the boards, without falling, which he thinks is a layup.
Layup, bud.
2, he's on the blue line, on skates, has to fly one of 50 pucks into the net on skates. Okay. And the other one is Ray gets to dig in at the far end of the ice. Sleaze gets to go as fast as he can at Ray, and Ray says he will not move him an inch. Do you think he can win any of these?
How many of those do I win?
I thought you get 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. Wait, what's the?
That's my.
That's
That's
second
good.
one.
I mean, I think you can move Pink Whitney a bit. I think
No, that's Ray. That's Ryan Whitney. We're talking about Ray Whitney. He's stout.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Ryan's bigger than Ray, though.
I think I don't know. I still think you could move another human being on ice going full speed. I mean,
he's never skated.
Big guy.
so what's
true.
full speed?
He's probably going to wipe out a few times on the way to him, but and I think you could get 1 puck in. I mean, I think you can get 1 in.
It's got to go in the air the whole way.
Never mind.
If I get 50,
Bud, you're going to be struggling,
tries.
bud.
50 tries.
Yeah,
Could you do it right
50.
now if you put the skates back on? Could you hit 1 in the air from the blue line?
I don't know.
I
wouldn't trust myself, but
that's not what I needed to hear.
All right,
I
perfect.
think you can get around the ice without falling too. I think you're just going to be
that's the done.
fairly standard.
February 1st, it's all happening.
I'll be watching.
We'll keep you abreast of the happenings on those bets.
I'm ready. I'll be first in line to watch that.
Perfect. Well, let's go back. I want to go back because you are one of the few very proud Duke Blue Devils on the PGA Tour. But when you came out of high school, you committed initially to the University of Florida. Why the switch to Duke?
Yeah, I kind of went on a sneaky little extra visit to Duke. I always kind of liked it. My parents were like, you should probably check it out. They really liked you, and look, if you got a chance to go to school like that, you should probably go. Give it a fair shake. And I kind of was thinking that it's probably a bunch of nerds. I don't know. I don't think I'm that smart. I don't think I can get through school. It's probably super hard. I don't know. I didn't like it. But I went back and stayed with some guys on the team, got to know them a little bit, saw them, at a football game and at night get slightly inebriated. Some of the upperclassmen were a bit out of control. And I was like, all right, these guys are fun. It's not a bunch of nerds. I had a stereotype in my head that turned out not to be the case. And I kind of loosened up a bit. And, I was like, all right, they convinced me basically that the school wasn't that hard and the golf program was on the up. We had brand new practice facilities, brand new building. And, going to a Duke basketball game gets you fired up. And so I made that switch, which was tough, but it was a great decision.
Yeah, you went to a powerhouse golf school like Duke with the likes of you have Kevin Streelman, Joe Ogilvy. Are there any others?
I mean, Ryan Blom.
Yeah. That's right.
I mean, pretty solid.
You act like it was just so obvious. I mean, Ryan Blom.
That's the first guy I think of.
But Duke's
Nate
obviously
Smith was on tour.
Oh yeah, Nate Smith. What a legend that guy was. But Duke's obviously more known for basketball and lacrosse. And I was looked up some of the records at Duke. The 54-hole scoring record was held by you. I'm not sure if it still is at the Coca-Cola Classic, 8 under par. Jesus, can we get some quality players in at Duke?
I don't know what is that true? That can't be true.
It said your sophomore year, you broke the 54-hole school scoring record and shot 8 under par, 208. Damn. Tough competition around there.
It's cold weather. It's cold. Courses are hard. They tuck the pins.
Yeah, academics, dude. They got to be studying. They don't got time to hit balls all day. 8 under would be all-time scoring record at TCU, so I got no problem with that.
We were always like solid with top, 25, 30 team. We went to the Nationals 3 out of the 4 years. Like we were solid, but we weren't definitely not a Oklahoma State by any means.
Well, we had Streelman on as a guest not too long ago, and he talked about how he used to get into the basketball games by bribing the ticket guy or the admissions guy, whoever it was. They'd give him golf balls and a golf bag and just take care of all of his golf and things like that. Did you have to do anything like that when you're on campus, or were you the camping out in a tent in Shesheskyville guy?
Neither. I went to a lot of games, but honestly, every year it just keeps getting more and more strict. I can't imagine how hard it is now to like sneak in. You always hear these stories about past players or guys, students that were find ways to get into Cameron, and it's just got harder and harder and harder. But no, I couldn't really camp out either because that was like a 2-month-long commitment that I couldn't do with school and workouts and traveling and everything. So the longest I ever stood in line, my freshman year, I did it. I think we hosted Indiana. I feel like I was in line for like 10 hours or something off and on in the line to get in the game. But tenting, like that's a whole nother crazy, it's a whole set of rules, and it's, I don't know. I was never into doing that. That's just ridiculous.
So how'd you get in?
Well, like a normal game, you could get in. Like if you're playing a TCU or an SMU or something that like some school that's kind of a write-off, you could just kind of cruise in and a few minutes before tip-off and have a decent spot in the student section. But if a tight ACC game or UNC or something, like you weren't going to get into that game, or if you did, not a UNC game, that was impossible. But even a good like Georgia Tech or a Miami or somebody like that, you could get in even after tip off and still get in. So we weren't very good my first like 2 or 3 years there. My first year, I feel like we were a 6th seed in the tournament, which is embarrassing. But by my senior year, they were pretty solid, and they ended up winning the national championship. So that was pretty sick.
Go back to the UNC thing real quick. Like you said, it's impossible to get a ticket. Like how long would guys or girls camp out for a ticket for the UNC game?
Well, if they're so they do a home and home. So if they're hosting last, which is usually like the first week in March or very end of February, they're lining up even before school starts in January. So the mid-January, early January. And it gets cold in Durham. I mean, they blow like an air horn and stuff, and they do random tent checks throughout the night. And if you're not there like you're supposed to be, then you're out. And so
you can obviously
it's basically
leave during
a single
class.
file line. You're just in line for that long, and as soon as the game starts, you just go in your line, and you can have up to like 12 people in your tent, and it's pretty strict rules that you don't mess around with. So it's a commitment to do.
One person has to be in the tent at all times
during the day, and like half of your group has to be there at night. Yeah.
And then,
my God, that's
game day morning, they hand out tickets or what?
There's no tickets. They just kind of swipe your student ID and you're in. But basically, it's a single file line, but you're also in front of the line for all the games prior. So if you're just like me, like hanging out trying to get in after, always get in after all of the tenting people.
Gotcha.
They've separated now to like blue tenting starts earlier than white tenting or vice versa. They have line monitors, they're called, and it's just the police officers of Kville, and but it's sweet. It makes it all that much more special when you get in, because you're like, I waited and froze my ass off for months for this, and that's why it gets so crazy.
God, imagine if you get blown out after waiting months.
Yeah, that happens. That happened when I was in school for sure. But we also blew them out my senior year. So I don't know. It's part of it. It's just, and they have parties there on the weekends. It's a whole thing. It's a wet campus, so it gets pretty fun. Coach K buys pizza for everybody. A lot of the players will stop by and set up a basketball hoop and shoot around, and the music's going, and it's a pretty good time.
You sure that's not an NCAA violation?
That feels like a viation. Dude.
I mean,
I'm not an NCAA guy, but that feels like cheating.
Oh, he doesn't buy the pizza. Somebody else. Man.
Well, Duke just got put on probation thanks to Adam Long.
When the
I need to have a lawyer
program,
here. I knew it. I knew it. I knew I should have had a lawyer here.
when they suspend Duke basketball operations, everyone's going to look at Adam Long and thank him for that.
Yep.
Who are last basketball question though, because I'm into, who were the guys when you were there? Who were the biggest names on campus, and what was their like level of celebrity like on campus?
They are definitely celebrities. I mean, it's a small campus. There's only 6,400 undergrads or whatever, and so you see everybody around, everybody, and they just really stand out because they're ginormous. But I had some classes with a few of them, and while I was in school, it was pretty blue collar. Right after I finished, like Kyrie Irving came in, and that kind of started this whole one and done thing that now that they've been doing. But we had Kyle Singler, John Shire, Nolan Smith, Gerald Henderson. Not a whole lot of like crazy superstars, but some guys that made it to the league for sure. But Lance Thomas, I don't know, just some blue collar guys. That's how they won the championship. Was not the way they're doing it now.
Have you ever spent any time? Sorry, go ahead, Colt.
Have you ever spent any time with Coach K?
Yeah, I met him probably like 3 times. Not a golfer, so that kind of sucked. Didn't have a whole lot of talk about after that. There was a guy on the team, Gerald Henderson, who played in the league for a while, who I was friends with at school a bit, and we would talk about him a few times, and he always talked about how he tries to get Gerald not to play so much golf, and he could be on the golf team too. And then Gerald would be like, I could never be on the golf team here. I like golf, but I'm not that good. And but he just didn't have a clue. He didn't really care. Versus Roy Williams down the street at UNC, huge golfer, playing every day. That would have been pretty cool to have, but not the case at Duke.
Did you take the same class as Kyrie Irving there at Duke, where they taught that the earth is flat?
Next question.
What a school.
A professional. You paid attention to media class.
Oh, good man.
Well, let's talk a little bit about
a little golf. Yeah.
Yeah, golf. You finished up at Duke. You're a 2-time academic All-American. A lot of brains in that small head. But you turned pro in 2010, and things didn't get off to probably quite the start you're looking for. Bounced around the Jicky Jacks, as Sleaze calls a little bit. Tell us a little bit about the Jicky Jack life.
Yeah, the Jicky Jack life. It's the life. I loved it. I really enjoyed it, honestly.
You want to go back?
It's tough. I do not want to go back. I just enjoyed the time. I failed miserably at first stage of Q school right out of school. Didn't play that great the next year on the mini tours, I guess. Qualified for the US Open the next summer after I graduated, and that was kind of my first like big success, just getting there. And then that fall, got through Q school and made it on the Web.com or Nationwide at the time, both. And I lost my card pretty quickly, easily that year. Back on the Jicky Jacks for 2 years. So, it was pretty up and down at the beginning, but I did well in them. Like I had a pretty decent, career, I guess you'd call it, but a pretty decent start. Like I made a lot of cuts, I didn't have a whole lot of wins, but I was, doing okay. It wasn't terrible, but playing a lot of eGolf Tour, Hooters Tour. Then I played the Canada, Latin America. I mean, some tough times, but it was also awesome. Like I made a lot of good friends. I had awesome memories that, I look back on it. It's pretty hilarious to look back.
When you were bouncing around and like you had a taste out there, you got on the Korn Ferry Tour, fell off, then you had to play some more Jickeys, go to Canada, and things like that. Were you always 100% all in on playing golf, or did you ever have any thoughts in your mind like, hey, maybe I want to try looking at something else?
Yeah, I was never like thinking about the PGA Tour when I was on the mini tours. I was always kind of thinking about the next step, like getting to the Korn Ferry Tour. And then when I was on the Korn Ferry Tour, I was just trying to get off that. But I wasn't 2 steps below or 3 steps below or anything, thinking too far ahead. I was just trying to get better status or trying to improve. Like I was always short term. I still am that way. I don't really look too far in the future, but not really. There was one like really, really low time. I think I missed 5 straight cuts on the eGolf Tour in 2011. And I was a wreck. I mean, I remember sending like swing videos to my coach in St. Louis, like what's going on in the swing, like looked fine. He'd tell me things. I couldn't feel it. It was just awful. I was missing cuts by a mile. I mean, that's when I was like going home at night, like, what am I doing? I'm trying to like get to the PGA Tour and I can't even sniff a cut on the eGolf Tour. Like this sucks. That was really my lowest point. And I missed the cut 1 week on Friday. Saturday, I flew to Columbus, Ohio, got ready for sectionals for the US Open qualifying and played like 2 of the best rounds of my life that Monday and got into the US Open. And then after that, I had a nice fall. And it's like, it's just crazy. That's golf for you, basically, because I was at my lowest point and then boom, my highest point at that point was making the US Open.
Yeah, you're playing terrible, then you play great, and you get to go play the US Open and get absolutely slapped around. What a reward.
Yeah. Show up there and I'm like, whoa, these guys are good.
Yeah, but you obviously then you kind of had your breakout year in 2018. You finished 13th on what's now the Korn Ferry Tour money list to get your PGA Tour card. Were you surprised at all it took that long? I mean, 8 years is a long time to keep going without any real success.
Yeah, looking back, 8 years is like a ton. Like it's like wow. Like, but I did play 5 years on the Corn Ferry Tour, and each of those, besides the first one in 2012, kind of sucked. But after that, the other four were all pretty solid. So like I was keeping my card on those tour on the Corn Ferry Tour, and I was getting to the finals and kind of coming close to getting a tour card. So that felt like I was almost like I made it. Like I felt like I had status the next year every time. You know, I didn't go to Q school since I guess it was 2014 was the last time I was at Q school. So I was feeling pretty good about it. Not that I like arrived by any means, but at that point you're just wanting status. Like you just want to have a tour to play on the following year. Like if you're doing that, you're doing okay. And I felt like I kept getting better and better every year. Like the dream of the PGA Tour wasn't that far away. And finally in 2018, I got it done.
Yeah, let's go back to that time that Colt just mentioned, your last year on the Corn Ferry Tour where you finished 13th on the money list. Obviously, you played really well that year. Then you go on to the PGA Tour, you win in your rookie year right off the bat. Then you go and have another great year on the PGA Tour. It seems like since that last year on the Corn Ferry Tour, you've really played really well and you've gotten better every single year. What's the difference in your game over these last couple of years than it was versus the previous 6 or 7?
Yeah, kind of two things. Definitely some physical stuff with my golf game that with Josh Gregory that I started with, I don't know, probably 4 years ago now. We really, he was the first guy that I really went to, and it was like, okay, help me with my chipping, putting, short game, kind of scoring, because I feel like I'm playing okay and just not getting anything out of it. And he really opened my eyes a lot about technique, for one, and also just spending the time and how to practice it and how to stay on it and how to get better, how different grasses. I mean, that's what we deal with a lot of, in professional golf is like every week you got different grass. And so different bunkers and lies and really having a clear plan of how to handle these issues. And he was the first guy that I really went to that was his thing. That was his focus. And it made, the rest of my game so much less stressful. Like I didn't have to hit it as well because my short game got a lot better, or at least I've been practicing a lot in the right ways. And I felt like it was a lot better. So I had the confidence that even if I was swinging it kind of crappy, I could still get up and down. It wasn't a big deal. So that was for sure one big thing. And then a little before that, even I spent some time with Dr. Bob Rotella and kind of really talked about my mental side of it and what and again, same kind of thing, gave me a lot of clarity and a lot of focus and a lot of purpose as to how I carry myself, how I think about golf, how I handle all of the ups and downs on and off the golf course. So I think those two, a true focus on my mental side and a true focus on my short game and putting and wedges and stuff, that those two things really kind of came together and started clicking in 2018.
Yeah, you definitely have found your way. Cause I mean, you go back to your start of your rookie season, you start off T63, then you miss 3 cuts in a row. And I think a lot of people might be like, oh God, what have I gotten myself into here? But then you find yourself in the final group in Palm Springs at the American Express with Phil Mickelson, where I think no one would have been surprised at all if you would have faltered, coming down the stretch at all. But you step up and hit one of the greatest shots of your life, make birdie on the 72nd hole and win the golf tournament. Take us through that last hole, because I thought that was one of the coolest moments I've ever seen on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, that was wild. I mean, I just started that day like I need a top 10 to get into Torrey. I was have a blast. Like I just want to make sure I had a good time. I wanted to like enjoy the moment, be in the moment, embrace it, and not try too hard and not anything. Just have fun with it, because who knows? I'd probably never be on the last group of a tournament on the PGA Tour. You never know. Like, let's just have fun with it. And like you said, all of a sudden on 18T, I'm like, holy crap, we're tied. But yeah, water on the left side. I was not going left, so I hit it right, which as one does, and hit it over there. It's on the side of a mound. Unfortunately, I would get over there like, of course, like why can't I just have a normal flat lie? I've been pretty lucky all week. Like, come on. But I was first to hit into the green and kind of quick played it in a sense. At least I felt like I was playing it pretty quickly because I didn't want to like overthink it. I've been playing pretty steady all week. I was kind of stepping up and just hitting it. I didn't want to overthink this shot and think about all that it meant. So I just hit that 7-iron and was trying to go middle of the green, pulled it a little bit right at the flag, and perfect. I was like, wow, I'm gonna have a chance here. But I still thought it was going to be a chance at a playoff because you got Phil Mickelson, middle of the fairway, probably has like 8 iron. And then he hit it like 40 feet short of the hole. I'm like, And then I'm like, well, Hadwin's probably has 9 iron. He's even closer up. He's going to stuff it. And he hits it over the green. So I'm like, holy crap. I'm going to have a chance to win this thing. And that's what happened. I mean, they missed their third shots, and I had 13-footer for birdie and kind of got over it and felt pretty good about it. And was like, I was basically not trying to think about all that it meant or all that it could mean. I was like, this is like a putt on Thursday. You've been rolling it well all week. And I just kind of got over it and felt good and went right in. And then I don't know what happened after that. So don't ask. Except
it was for like 1.3 million and changes your life. No big deal.
Yeah. It's just a Thursday putt.
Yeah.
Just a nothing in it putt. But Adam, I heard you say after the tournament, like you, like anyone in our generation, looked up to Phil as a young kid, right? That's a guy you look up to and kind of idolize, and you want to be like. When you were paired with him in that final round, had you had any interaction with Phil Mickelson leading up to that, or was that the first time you guys met?
First time we met. I mean, I saw him. I think the only other tournament that he played in that I was in was at Napa earlier in the season, but no interaction. Met him on the first tee and have at it.
Yeah, it's amazing like how well you handled the situation, but then you look at throughout your career when you get big pairings. I was talking to Josh Gregory about this last night. When you get big pairings, you seem to play really, really well. Obviously, this year y'all weren't playing great, but you had the biggest pairing you can possibly have on the PGA Tour, arguably at the Zozo with Tiger and Phil. And here's Adam Long, and you went out and slapped them both around. I mean, what is it when you get in these moments?
I don't know. Maybe it gets me more excited. I definitely don't have like a chip on my shoulder. I definitely don't have I want to beat this guy so bad. Like he's one of the best players. I don't know. I played with Justin Thomas at Mayakoba. Same thing. I don't know. I feel like they bring out the best in me in a way. I want to like rise to their level. I want to rise to the occasion in a sense, probably. I always do better, kind of the more pressure, the bigger the events, I tend to do a lot better. I am your worst, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday practice game guy or guy at home. Like I just donate. I just send it out. God. I should just Venmo you before the round.
Move out here.
Played with me on Tuesday.
Move out here, bud. We got room.
I am the world's worst on a Tuesday, but usually by Sunday I have a pretty good week. So I don't know. Something about those tournaments or those rounds or those pairings that kept me fired up, but I don't know. It's something ask Josh. Maybe he knows.
So let's stay on that pairing you had at Sherwood with Tiger and Phil, which is probably 99% of the world of golf's dream pairing out there. When you get there and you're paired with Phil again, did you have to reintroduce yourself? Like, hey, Phil, I'm Adam. I'm the guy that dusted you at Palm Springs. It's been a while, buddy.
I did. I tried to talk to him kind of throughout the last year and a half since then, a little bit here and there in the locker rooms or something, but he did say like, I think last time we played together, you were making putts and chipping in to win tournaments. That was a fun day. I wish I would have finished on the other end of that thing, but that was a fun day.
Oh,
but shucks. I did ask Phil and Rick Wild Scribs on the first tee, the starter. We're standing there. We're there, I don't know, 3 minutes before our tee time and getting our scorecards and pin sheets and things. And I'm like, you guys have any idea who our third is here? And Phil's like, oh, don't worry. He likes to make a grand entrance. He'll be here.
Oh, one of those last groups off 10th, the 10th tee.
It was hilarious though. Yeah, exactly. We were off 10. We're in like close to last. And we look over, I'm like talking to Jules, my caddy, your old caddy. I'm looking at Jules and I'm like, look at number 1 over here. There's nobody around 1. These guys are like winning the tournament. And there was not one person on 1. And we've got the entire club staff, media, everybody's on 10. We had like PGA Tour Live on us for T65. It was a sweet day. It was pretty awesome for me.
Well, take us inside that. Yeah, take us inside that round a little bit.
Everyone's all of ours dream to play with Tiger Woods. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I know Tiger wasn't playing his best that week, but what was it like? Did you chat much with him? I mean, you had to be kind of in awe, even though you were playing well.
Yeah, quite a bit. I mean, I kind of wanted to just kind of watch them interact more than anything. I was a front row seat to those two. And their little banters and conversations, but yeah, none of us were playing that great, so I think that helped my cause. Had we been final group of a major, maybe they would have been a little more intense and felt like they were trying to kill me, but it was pretty relaxed for the most part. I don't know. They were pretty quiet to start, but it got a lot more loose towards the back nine. We're all kind of ready to be done, and it was pretty awesome though. Yeah, I mean, I felt like Tiger didn't really initiate a whole lot of conversation, but anytime I asked him stuff or questions, he would just start a whole 5-10 minute conversation the rest of the hole. So that was pretty cool. And Phil, he's pretty outgoing. You guys know him a bit. He'll talk to anybody and he'll tell you all kinds of stories and stuff. So that's easy. He's an open book, but Tiger's a little tougher to needle.
What did you ask? What was your first question to Tiger Woods that day? I'd love to know.
My first question was,
or any question.
On 11, our second hole. My first question was, we were both like 10 feet away. I'm like, I mean, I don't know who's going next. I don't know. Am I supposed to ask him? I mean, it's Tiger. So I'm like, I just kind of was like, who's next? Me or you? And he's like, you call it. I was like, oh, it's probably me. I'll go.
It's me, dude. You can stand
You're
right behind
definitely
me
in a
and
better
watch
shot
it
than
if
me.
you want. I'll hit it twice. I'll rake it back and hit it
me.
twice.
Yeah, it's definitely me. That was the first question. I don't know. After that, he had just filmed a golf pass TV thing at the Dye Preserve, where I'm a member here in Jupiter, and I was asking him about his day out there and his experience out there. That was probably the second real question. But there were some funny little things here and there, and they obviously get along. They're not like super close best friends or anything, but they were talking about the upcoming Masters in the fall and kind of the schedule changes and things like that. But it was a pretty fun day for me.
Yeah, I would say. Bias, not bad.
Tiger stiffed you on a ride home back to Florida on his jet. Huh?
Oh yeah,
that's true. Yeah, I mean, we're in LA, both trying to go to Florida, Jupiter, and I'm like, man, I could really use this. I had my wife and baby, but I would have bailed on them to hitch a ride with this guy. No, but I asked Joe's caddy. I was like, man, how's Tiger getting home tonight? And he's like, oh, he's flying out as soon as we sign that card, man. He's going straight to the plane. I was like, yeah, man, I'm going the same way. So you're saying he's not on our JetBlue flight tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. out of LAX? No, I don't think so. I'll be watching the Dodgers game and kick back and relax. But I didn't have the guts to ask Tiger that, but I knew the answer. So
that's a tough ask in your first time with Tiger. Hey, bud, do you mind if I just saddle up back across country?
Tough ask. Yeah.
Well, I've also heard.
But shoot.
I've also heard if he does give you a ride, you get a bill afterwards too. So you're probably glad, because that's an expensive flight from LA to Jupiter.
Certainly more than I made that week. So it's probably a good thing I kept my mouth shut.
Yeah, he's not on the baby bird at all. I want to go back to last year though too, Adam, because you were in a situation I mentioned earlier when I introed you. You finished 31st in the FedEx Cup standings, but this past year there was a monumental up and down made by Mackenzie Hughes in Chicago in the FedEx Cup playoffs on the 72nd hole that a lot of people probably don't realize how impactful that up and down was. Can you explain what that up and down meant for you?
I was almost over that. I was almost over it. And then here we go.
I'm sorry, dude.
So it came down to the BMW, and long story short, it came down to Mackenzie Hughes on 18. If he makes par, he's in the Tour Championship. If he makes bogey or worse, Adam Long, you're in the Tour Championship. And I had just gotten like takeout food for my wife and I and baby, and we I was like in the parking lot watching it. I think I was listening on the radio. I don't know. I was watching it on my phone. Maybe I was like, this is it. Let's see what happens. I think I was watching my phone, and he's over. I'm like, this is a dicey putt. Like, he had like 5.5 feet for par that he left him with a nasty putt, and just cashed it. It was a sick putt. It was a perfect putt. And that was it. Turned it off, and I was like, well, all right, we're going home. We're not going to Atlanta. It was. I'm really good friends with Mac. Like, he's an awesome dude, knows Caddie well too. And like, honestly, I was super stoked for them. Like, that is a huge accomplishment. And I just was more like disappointed in myself. It was more like I could have done so much more. Like, you thought over the course of a season, a point here and a point there, that was the difference. And so that was it was like gut wrenching to myself that I didn't finish it off, because I was in a great position the last like 4 weeks to do it. And I just kind of hung around and made, all 4 cuts from the PGA to what was the next, Sedgefield to Boston, and then Chicago. I was around, but I was always finishing anywhere from 30th to 50 something. So just didn't get it done, and it was kind of just sucked for me. But I was stoked for Mac, honestly.
Just think,
Go ahead, Colt. Sorry.
But just think, if he would have missed that putt, you would be in Hawaii right now. You wouldn't be doing golf subpar. I mean, you're winning right now. Let's be honest.
Valid. We haven't had him on. In all fairness,
that's true. It's a pretty even trade-off there. That's true. I bet Mac's miserable out there too.
Oh, he keeps reaching out to us like, have me on. I'm like, relax, dude. We got Adam Long. We'll put you in the queue somewhere down the mix. So yeah,
Maui
you are
sucks
winning
in
on
January.
that.
Maui's terrible in January. Who wants to be there?
You don't want
the course
that.
is so hilly. Oh,
that walk,
brutal.
dude. You get chapped ass, all that stuff. You don't want any part of that. Have you? Real question though. Have you? You're close with Mac. Obviously, you guys are buddies. Have you ever brought up after the fact, like, hey, asshole, that up and down cost me the Tour Championship and every major. Our friendship is a little rocky right now.
I mean, I texted him that night, and he did text back, but not really after that. I don't think we've had much about that. We just talk about everything else, but it's understood. He got it done, and I didn't. Though it wasn't like he did anything crazy. He didn't hole out from the fairway or something. That would be a lot different. But he made a pretty nasty par on the last hole.
We had him on our SiriusXM show the next day, and he said he couldn't have been happier that you finished 31st. So I'm not sure what that does to y'all's friendship. But
you weren't supposed to tell him that, bro.
Well, I
did not know that.
I had
I'm
to.
coming for you, Mac.
But obviously, you bounce back. I mean, a month or so later, you finished 13th at the U.S. Open, your best finish in a major around Winged Foot. Incredible playing, by the way. But obviously, all the talk that week was Bryson DeChambeau and what he's doing to the game. You're not one of the longer guys out there. There's no secret about that. You get it done in a much different way. With all the focus on distance now, everybody going to 47-inch drivers, trying to hit as far as they can. Does this frustrate you at all, the way the game's going?
Not really. I mean, it was going to happen at some point, probably. People are going to figure it out. But no, more power to Bryson. I mean, it's unbelievable what he's done. He's probably the most dedicated athlete in any sport. Pretty awesome to watch. But for me, I'm in a way different position than he is. I don't know, as far as like gaining a bunch of weight and trying to pick up a crazy amount of swing speed and make these huge jumps, like, I'm not in a position to do that. Like, I can't afford to have a crappy year or two on tour, or I'll lose my card. I'm out of here, and they'll chew me up and spit me out. I mean, it's cutthroat out there. So I'm in a more of a position where I feel like I just need to keep doing my thing and almost have blinders on to that, because yes, I'd love to hit it 30 yards further, of course, but that would take me some time. It would take some effort, take some commitment, and doing it the right way. I'm just not in a position to or willing to do that right now. Maybe that'll change in a few years, but where I'm at right now, like, I feel like my results have been really good. My game's solid. I'm in a good position. I'm trending in the right direction. And why would you start, searching for something that may or may not breed success? I mean, there's no guarantee that if I hit it further, all my other shots will be just as good or better either. So, I always kind of wonder too, like, if your driver's swing speed gets that fast, does it affect the rest of your iron play and your wedges and your touch around the greens? Like, I don't know, it could have an effect in that too. So I'm kind of hanging tight and sitting back and watching everybody else do it. But it is a thing for sure. I mean, there's guys at the club every day trying to swing as fast as they can, and they're obsessed with who hits it farther. And I'm just kind of doing my own thing and, trying to rack up FedEx Cup points, not money, but points.
Points. Very well said. What you said about distance was very well said. Also, the FedEx Cup, very well said. But it was interesting to see in the first round of the Tournament of Champions, Bryson was paired with Brendan Todd, who's one of the shortest guys on tour. And on average, on the par fours and par fives, Brendan Todd had 48 yards further for his approach shots than Bryson did. And he ended up beating Bryson. So it does show you that obviously you can beat him on any given day. It's just, but at the same time, 48 yards closer on every approach shot, that's a freaking big advantage.
That's a lot. I mean, one day, yeah, Brendan beat him. And over this week or next week, or Brendan might beat him a decent amount. But over the long haul of a season or a career, you got to give the edge to Bryson. But that doesn't mean Brendan Todd can't win tournaments. He can't, have an amazing, crazy long career either. That just means Bryson's might just be a little bit better. But I don't know. There's room for a lot of us out here still.
Okay, here's a question I've never asked anybody, because obviously, yes, I actually never have asked this to anybody. Obviously, the short hitter can survive on the PGA Tour. Do you think we'll ever see a short hitter, say bottom 30 distance guy on tour, be top 10 in the world ever again?
I would lean toward no.
See, that's what I think. The short hitter can survive, keep his card, have a nice career and all this. I just don't know if they can ever be that elite player anymore, like a Justin Leonard, like a Corey Pavin and stuff like that.
Right.
David Toms.
Yeah.
Zach Johnson.
I'd probably agree with you on that. I don't know. It would be pretty awesome to see because it would be so different than everybody around him. But I would lean toward no.
It's definitely not trending towards the way of the short hitter right now. I can say that. But you brought up an interesting comment earlier about how, like, I can't afford to have a bad year out here because it'll chew you up and spit you out, right? But you are a PGA Tour winner. You've been out there a number of years now. Where do you view yourself? Because a lot of the young guys that come out, the hardest part is feeling like you belong on the PGA Tour. You've been out there long enough now and have had enough success. Where do you view yourself in terms of like the PGA Tour as a whole? Do you have a different mindset than you did a couple years ago?
Yeah, probably. I mean, as a rookie, I was just kind of like, where am I? Like, am I good enough? Is anything in my game good enough to be here? Like, what do I do so well that I deserve to be here? You're just like, what do I need to get better at? Like, these guys are amazing. You're just kind of watching everybody. Like, you can't help but have a little bit of that. And then now I'm just kind of like, I'm 33. My goal is not to be number one in the world right now. Like, it is just not a thing for me. I think Colin Morikawa, yes, certainly his goal should be number one in the world. Anybody that's on tour in their early 20s, yes, why wouldn't it be? But for me, I'm 33. This is my third year now on tour. I'm 60 something in the world, and I'm trending in the right direction, but I'm trying to get to like 50. I'm trying to just kind of move up kind of gradually and do my thing. I intend to win again. That's my goal. I want to keep contending to win. I want to win again. I don't know. I feel like I'm a comfortable, next tier kind of player. Maybe once I get that kind of settled down for a while, then I can move up to the next kind of tier. But these guys that are continuing to win every single week, Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson, those guys are John Rahm. I mean, these guys are so underrated. It's unbelievable. They're so good. It's ridiculous. But, I realize that I'm a ways from getting there, and I'm just trying to kind of take baby steps to get there instead of maybe giant leaps. I'm not trying to gain 50 yards to reach that point.
What is the one part of your game you would say you need to improve to get to top 50 in the world?
That's a good question, because I've always pretty much prided myself on being good at like everything, not necessarily awesome at anything, but no weaknesses in my game. I don't know. I mean, if I had to pick, it kind of changes. I guess this season my iron game's kind of sucked, but if I hit it a little bit better, I'd probably feel a lot better. But if I had to pick one, I'd take putting. I think if I could putt like Colt, I'd be doing a lot. I'd be a lot happier.
Yeah, you'd be sitting here interviewing me. Congratulations.
I would take Colt on the 10-footer to win, by the way, if you're still doing that.
Well, you already had one of those anymore. And you made it.
True.
So.
No, I can putt fine. It's just if I had to pick one aspect from the game to get a lot better in, I'd take putting.
What's the one shot you feel like if all the chips are on the table, all the marbles, one shot you got that you want to go to more than anything? What do you hit? What's a shot you hit better than you think most people in the world?
Yeah, I hit like a nice, pretty 3/4 flighted draw with my irons. I don't know, 9/8 7 iron. Like 155 7 iron into the wind, like a nice flighted little draw in there. Feel pretty confident about that.
I remember it well. Or a little hanging lie 7 iron, perhaps with a slight pull, which I knew you pulled. I was going to ask you if you pulled that, but you already answered the question. You said you slight pulled it, but unbelievable. I thought you might say that one.
Slight pull.
Is there one thing in your 3 years that you stuck out when you're playing with somebody that you were just like, oh my God, that was impressive?
Yeah, you know what? Most recently that sticks out is Sergio Garcia's driver. Like T-ball game is unworldly. It's so good. I loved watching. I played with him for 2 rounds at Sanderson Farms in Jackson when he ended up winning the first 2 days. But I was just like in awe of his driver. Like, it was so awesome. He's got it. It's flighted. It's bombed. It's hit hard. He's got the draw, the fade. Like, that probably was one of the most impressive things. I'm trying to think of another one, but maybe Brendan Todd's like mid-range putting. Honestly, like it's pretty nasty. If it doesn't go in, it's like, how did that not go in every time?
When you're playing with guys like this who impress you, are you one of the guys that has no problem going to these guys and asking for advice or asking for little tips and things like that and trying to gain information, or do you kind of keep your distance and just watch and try to pick up on it that way?
No, I think that's another thing that I've done really well at, and that's helped me is like I like my own game and I'm playing golf my own way, and I think that's really what you have to do on the PGA Tour because there's so many good players. There's so many guys that are good at this or good at that or have this shot or that, whatever, that you can get a little bit lost and you end up trying to be like them and trying to be like somebody else. And I've really taken a lot of ownership in my own game and the way I get it done playing my own golf game instead of trying to be like them because I'm just not going to. And just trusting that I can get it done in my own way and my own game is good enough. So no, I don't really, I like watching that stuff and it's pretty cool, but I'm not going to go try to be like that. If that makes sense.
Yeah, you be you.
You be you.
Yeah,
Love you some
that's
you.
exactly it. That's it.
All right, Sleeze, should we get to the emergency 9? I know
Let's
he's
go.
dying.
Let's go E9 on his ass right now.
Neil
All
Patrick Harris.
Oh, he listens. Yep. Respect.
He does. He's a fan.
And that's actually really good. Shit, I didn't.
That is very good.
That's the right.
Number
I think
one.
that's right.
Well, obviously, he's a huge fan of Golf Subpar, so he knows the question already. But number one, who plays Adam Long in a movie? Neil Patrick Harris. Sleeze, I didn't have an answer. Now looking at him, though, it's brilliant.
I got to say my answer sucks now because I think that's the right answer, and the man obviously knows what he's doing. I had him as McLovin, the organ donor from Hawaii. I think from Superbad. I think that's pretty accurate.
Mean.
That's
agree to disagree.
McLovin he's a very likable character, dude.
Colt's got nobody here. You guys are like the king of research, and this is what we get.
McLovin.
The one I had down, he would need some work, but Owen Wilson.
Wow.
Owen Wilson, huh?
Yeah, blonde hair. His nose is a little messed up.
He's gonna need to bust. He's gonna need to play a little more hockey. Maybe take a couple more.
Oh no, he's blonde headed.
You think he's that funny, Colt? You think he's funny enough to pull off?
I actually do think Adam's funny.
Yeah, he is actually funny.
He's not showing it right now, but
no.
I'm just trying to anticipate your second question. And
all right. I'm the second question guy. Here you go. This is the easy one. Who do you hate more, the North Carolina Tar Heels or the Los Angeles Rams?
Oh, the Tar Heels for sure.
I've been told that you had a really tough time when the Rams packed up shop and moved to LA.
Not a big Stan Kroenke fan over here. Yeah, not cool. That sucked. I was a big fan there. Greatest show on turf when I was a kid. Got super into it. And then they sucked for a while, a little less into it then. But then they just bailed and it sucked. So yeah, that's bad. But the Tar Heel thing, I mean, when you're living there in Durham, and I mean, you just have to, you have to hate UNC. Although we did go over there on the weekends quite a bit. Full disclosure.
If Roy Williams was at the golf course, would you introduce yourself to him?
Yeah, 1,000%.
Say I'm a huge fan.
All the time.
I'm a huge
wouldn't
fan.
Say I was a fan, but I would like to meet him and have a little word with him. Ask him why they sucked so bad.
He'd probably come up to you. Just wait for that.
I totally agree.
Good point.
All right, favorite Duke basketball player of all time.
Well, all time's tough. Jason Williams is probably number one. When I was in school is what most people, I thought you were going to ask me. I knew it.
You're wrong.
But Kyle Singler was just awesome when I was in school. He's a year younger than me, but just blue collar, awesome, kind of a all around the floor, could do it all. And just, we made him, rebound and shoot threes. And I mean, he got his ass beat under the boards and in the paint, but he survived and won us a national championship. That was number one.
Yeah, he's a lot like you, basketball version. Blue collar guy, gets it done, hard worker, just knows the grindstone type of a fella.
I like you, Drew.
Yeah, I get it. I see the parallels. All right, I'll ask the next question here. This is the last one. My last two I think will be real fun. All right. Bigger deal in St. Louis, you or Nelly? Current day.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to say. In the day, Nelly. Are you kidding me? Nowadays, I don't know. I've been in like the 18th page of the Post-Dispatch like 4 times in the last year. I don't think Nelly can say that.
Have you ever met Nelly?
Have not met Nelly.
I feel like all the St. Louis guys just hang out under the arch, and you guys just all meet each other and hang out and shit.
Yeah, kind of not really. No. You know, he was on the other side of the river for the most of the time, but no, that'd be cool to meet him. I mean, I was a huge fan of some country grammar back in the day.
Who wasn't? Maybe wear the Band-Aid on the eye and draw him out and let him know you're paying homage.
Next time you play the Masters, put the Band-Aid under the eye.
Yeah, wear the Band-Aid at the Masters. That would be.
Yeah.
You think people would get it?
Nope. But Nelly would if he heard about it.
Yeah.
That's all that matters, right? We're going. Yeah.
100%.
All right. I'm going to put that in my notes on my phone.
Yep.
Next question. Mine's also a bigger deal in St. Louis question, but mine's Albert Pujols or Brett Hull.
Brett Hull. I mean, especially with the Blues' success last year, and we went Blues, and I mean that guy just absolutely crushed it in the playoffs. You know, Pujols was absolutely the GOAT there for a long time, and it sucked to see him leave. Yeah, I mean Brett Hull has to be number one. Except you know these kids these days they don't really know him probably as well as we did, but yeah, I'm going with Brett Hull. Tough call though.
I agree.
Yep. A lot of legends out of that place. All right, this next question I've been looking forward to asking this. All right, here we go. I don't know how to phrase it, but you'll get the gist. What took you so long to be friends with me when we played at the Canadian Tour at the same time?
Are y'all friends?
Bury the hatchet, buddy.
He was so cold. You wouldn't believe this guy, dude.
So there's this guy. There was this guy on the McKinsey Canada PGA Tour that was this loud down on the range wearing these, you know, these flat bill like visor things and the hair and just talking and hitting these like slices on the tee. I mean, I didn't know who this guy was. Didn't put out the best five. And then it kind of weeks would go by and I'd be like, why are all of my friends with this guy? They're playing practice rounds with him. They're staying with him. They're going to dinner with this guy. Why? And I kind of met him maybe briefly one time or something. And I was still just like, not my cup of tea. And then who was our mutual friend? Was it Wes Holman maybe? Somebody set us up on a drive from,
yes, I don't know when you played good, somewhere in Ontario. When you played good, the Waterway or whatever.
Waterway Classic, who can forget? We had to drive like to the west side of Toronto and like London. It was, I don't know, a 3-hour at least drive. Took us like 5 because of that huge accident. I had to give this guy a ride because I'm the nice guy. And of course, there's a huge traffic accident, nasty thing. And we sat in the car for like 4 or 5 hours together. And I finally saw what everybody else saw in him. So I did come around and finally like the guy.
Yeah, what?
What is that exactly?
It's a good question.
I don't know. He asked a lot about me, which he's doing well now, as still to this day. He didn't, you know, he I don't know. I think it was his charm. I don't know. He may have touched my leg. I don't know. It was a nice trip that
I believe
we're not supposed to talk about ever since. But you know, I don't know. We just started hitting it off.
That was a special moment. Special moment. Very, very really, nice answer.
Really turned a corner then.
Absolutely.
I love it. Number 7. Your wife is a very successful nurse antithesis. Do my research. Okay.
That's pronounced very well.
I know.
Yeah.
Trust me, I do my research, bud.
Yeah, I see that.
Rumor has it she was kind of your sugar mama when you were on the Jicky Jacks growing up. You know, she was the breadwinner of the family. So be honest with me. Who picked up more dinner tabs before you got your PGA Tour card, you or her?
She did do nice, but she was in school for a lot of it. So it wasn't until the very end there that she started raking in the dough. No, it was pretty even. I still would like pay for the dinners, and then I'd be like, "Can you help out with the mortgage kind of thing or the rent? You know, can you help us out on the back end kind of thing?" She's a nurse anesthetist and does quite nicely, but she works pretty part-time nowadays. It's once or twice a week, at the most, but it's a good little setup for us.
I heard you said that if you weren't a PGA Tour player, you'd be a stay-at-home dad.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Probably what I'm best at. I could probably do that. I don't know. I would get a lot of babysitters. Like tomorrow, like I've been home for 6 weeks or whatever. Emily's going to work from like 1 to 7, and I have like scheduled to play this golf round tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So I got to get a babysitter. Of course, the one day I'm on daddy duty, but so I'm taking a little bit of heat for that. But luckily, Mallory Connors, Corey Connors' wife, right next door, big fan of little Trevor. So we worked a little deal. So she's going to come over and babysit.
Nice.
No, not a big golf match, just a prior commitment.
So by stay-at-home dad, you mean go away and golf dad and give the kid to someone else?
Pretty much. My parents live nearby. You know, I could probably bribe them into coming over for a bit. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I didn't play golf. I'd be screwed.
All right, you're doing a hell of a job. Don't even worry about that anymore. You're beyond that. All right, next question. Have you ever been mistaken for a fan while in the elevator at a PGA Tour event?
Oh gosh, yeah, that was bad. I felt bad for the guy even. I mean, we're in the host hotel in New Jersey it was like the first playoff event and the Northern Trust. And we're in there's players all over the place. Courtesy cars out front. I mean, couldn't be more obvious. This is like Saturday of the tournament or Friday probably. And he get in the elevator and he's like, I got my bag. I had all my golf clothes on, I guess. I didn't have my bag. And he's just like, where are you headed? I was like, oh, Liberty National. He's like, oh yeah, us too. He had his like ticket already ready, he's ready to go. And he's like, do you think any of the players are staying here? We're pretty close to the course. And I was like, yeah, I think there's at least one. There's at least one player here. Yeah, that was bad. That was a play better moment for sure. There's lots of times though at restaurants and stuff like, oh, you just come from the tournament? Yeah, I was just finished up on 18 over there, but don't recognize me. That's all right. I don't mind it that way.
Yeah, I wear my golf shoes to watch like everybody else.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, last question.
That's awesome.
All right. So the listeners love getting the inside scoop of the PGA Tour, like I said earlier. Okay. So we're going to just put a little hypothetical situation here. Okay.
This is going to hurt.
Say a player is going to fire his caddy, and he maybe is interested in hiring a caddy that works for another player. So what's the protocol here? Does the player go to the other player and maybe ask permission, or does he just go behind his back and try to hire the caddy away? How does that work?
Here it is.
You're breaking up. We got a poor connection.
It's been brewing for an hour.
Thanks for having me, guys. Enjoyed the show. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Yeah, that worked out well for me. I know that.
Why don't you explain to them what you did, Adam?
Tell them what happened.
I don't know. I was in a whirlwind at that point, but yeah, my side of the story was I was asking a lot of players and caddies and coaches and who might be available to hire, who should I get, and everyone kept saying this Julian Trudeau chap, and I was like, all right, let's go with this Julian Trudeau chap. What's he doing? Oh, well, he's out in the Zurich caddying for Colt, but I don't know if that's a long-term thing. I don't know if Colt's on medical. I don't know what their agreement is. So I asked Jules and said, I know you're caddying for Colt this week. Do you have any interest in some point down the road? I don't know, next year, who knows? And he said, oh my God, thank you so much, Adam, for saving me. I will work for free. I'll pay you to get out of this situation with this guy. I'm miserable. I hate this guy. It's awful. And that's kind of how it worked for me. That's from my side.
Caddy thief. Absolute caddy thief.
I knew it was coming up. I just didn't know at what point during the show. So I knew the last question coming in, I was like, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, I thought we'd ask that early on, but you saved it for the last, and I'm sweating a bit.
We build it up.
I did text Joel, Colt, like a little later on. I was like, I don't know what I said. Thank you. I don't know. Don't hate me. Don't talk bad about me on your radio show. Whatever I said, and you just said you're dead to me, and that's how I knew. You
started off with "This is Adam Long," and then I said "Who?" I said "Who?" question mark. So I thought I started it.
Probably true. Probably true there.
Oh my God! And now look,
I forgive you. I forgive you. Now look, Jules so much that I forgive you.
That's it. Well, that's because he's the nice guy. Everybody likes him. So in fact, in turn, everybody kind of doesn't hate me as much.
Perfect. Well, Adam, thank you so much for joining us, man. It's been a blast.
Yeah, you guys are welcome, and good luck with the show. Hopefully you make it to next week.
It's TBD at this point.
Perfect. Thanks, dude.
Thanks, bud.
All right.
And that was the Caddie thief, Adam Long. I decided to wait till the very, very end to throw that in there, Sleaze, but that's one thing. I didn't know Adam very well until the whole Caddie thief thing took place, but I love giving him a hard time about it. He's basically the reason I'm doing the Golf Subpar podcast and the SiriusXM radio show. So I don't know whether to hate him or to thank him.
It all worked out, dude. You don't got to worry about making cuts or doing any of that anymore. But I was sitting there through the whole interview, like, I wonder when it's coming. I wonder when he's going to bring up the Caddie. And then the last question, I was like, this has to be it, or else I will do lost every single bet. I know it's got to come up, but it's always a fun thing to talk about with him. Your boy Jules popping off and going with A Long for a little while.
Not a bad move. It's worked out very, very well for him. But he is Adam Long, great dude, very dry sense of humor. Love cracking jokes with him, but I mean, what a run he's been on. 13th at the U.S. Open, 31st in the FedEx Cup standings, only because Mackenzie Hughes made a 5-foot slider to keep him out of East Lake. It was really cool to see his reaction. I mean, he wasn't upset about it. I mean, it's kind of hard when one of your really good friends knocks you out.
Yeah, what are you going to do? I mean, you have the whole season. It seems like it comes down to that bubble every single time. It's one shot here, one shot there. But I actually was texting with a couple of our buddies beforehand, like, yo, is it cool if I bring up the Mackenzie Hughes up and down, or is that still like a sore subject? Because I mean, that's still like, it's your buddy that does it to you and you're happy that he did well and all that, but like, that's still a bit, I mean, that's every single major for the next year. That's a ton of money, ton of bonuses from all your sponsors, everything like that. I mean, that is a massive deal to get in there. So to watch a guy get up and down on the last hole, make a 5-foot slider to do it, tough one. But I mean, A Long, he's cool with talking about it, but it was fun to hear that story.
Yeah, and get you in the WGCs, which is just free money, no matter how you play.
You're
going to walk out with probably, a few $100,000, even if you don't play very well. So tough one for him. But I mean, like I said, the future looks very, very bright for Adam Long. He's really turned into a great player. And I love catching up with about the Duke stories. I mean, camping outside of Cameron Indoor, going to those games with the Cameron Crazies. What a cool experience that had to be.
Yeah, I mean, you and I went to SMU, TCU, dude. I could walk into our arena 5 minutes before tip-off and probably walk down and ask the coach if I could start at point guard. You'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever you want to do. A little different world out there at Duke, where I had no idea these dudes camp out for 2 months. I mean, Could you imagine doing that? I mean, I don't care how much I love anything, camping outside in the winter to do something for 2 months, probably not going to survive that.
I would like to know, like, how many people break the rules and their tent gets thrown out.
Oh, you could sabotage the shit out of people, I would feel like. Turn off their you got to have something to keep you warm. Turn that off. They're going to have to go leave and get a new one. Whoop, move their tent behind our tent. All right, we just moved up. There's a lot of, or be like Kevin Streelman and just bribe the security guy or the tickets guy. That seems like an easier route. Oh, you want some golf balls in a bag? Cool. I'd like to sit on the third row for Carolina game. Yeah,
but that was a lot of fun. And our next episode is going to be even a lot of fun as well. We got one of the most colorful characters, Steve Elkington, going to be joining us on Golf Subpar. And also, Sleaze, we're going to be bringing back our gambling segment, which I know a lot of you out there have been waiting for.
Yep, that'll be fun to get back into that. We gotta get the criteria lined up and all that figured out exactly how we're going to do it. But we will be back with the gambling picks next week and another year of just competing head to head. I still need to get that caddy round, by the way. I'm waiting on that. My game's nice right now, so you might want to hurry up before I start hitting it like shit and you got to work harder.
Yeah, whatever. All right, well, that's going to do it for us. You're not going to want to miss next week with special guest Steve Elkington on Golf Subpar. Everybody have a great week.